Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Cherico, and I'm here with Clay Pasco, and welcome to the eighth episode of Up All Night. It's been a while, so we have an extra special episode coming up for you. But college football season's almost here, Clay. How are you feeling? I mean, it is
You
here.
have no idea. I feel amazing. Yesterday, if you guys don't know, whenever this is uploaded, but yesterday was Saturday. College football is back. Week 0, Florida State, Georgia Tech, cinema. Montana State, New Mexico, cinema. SMU, Nevada, cinema. I didn't watch Hawaii, Delaware State because I was at like 11 p.m.
Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema. All of it. It's amazing, and I love it. Life is good.
Yeah. UCF kicks off Thursday against New Hampshire. I'll be getting out of class early for that one. Professor had the option to cancel it since it was at 2 o'clock. He was like, I'll give you guys a day. So I'll be there. I'll be in attendance, and y'all will see me there. But otherwise, we have a couple more questions to answer on the Hot Wheel. Well, we're not skipping the Hot Wheel this. We're skipping the Hot Wheel this week. We're just going to answer some blaring UCF topics, questions that people have been
Absolutely.
wondering about. So the first one is, Clay, who takes running back 3?
It's Miles Montgomery. I think takes running back 3. As much as I hate to do that to Johnny Richardson, I love Johnny Richardson. I got to speak to him at media day. He was really cool. He's really chill. He's been a very, very valuable running back to us the last few years. I really liked his Gasper level performance against Florida as a kick returner. But Miles Montgomery, I've heard a lot of good things about him in camp. If I'm not wrong, he had at one of the scrimmages like 2 touchdowns, which I think one of them got called back. They said is what happened, and I've heard just a lot of good things about Miles. I think it's going to be Miles. I think he'll be in the rotation with Penny, with RJ. If I were to bet on it right now, he would have more carries at the end of the season than Johnny Richardson will.
All right. And I'm taking it one step further than you. It's debatable, but I can see Miles having more carries than Penny this season. Um, they view from attending press conference and hearing what they had to say, they view Miles Montgomery as such a hard nosed runner, like possibly even more hard nosed than RJ. He's not as fast as anybody else in the running back room, but he will fight for those extra yards more than anybody else can give you. So I will think I still think that on the depth chart, Miles Montgomery will be third, but Penny Boone will be second, a close second. It won't be disparity like this. It will be like more like this kind of a thing. And don't get discouraged about Johnny Richardson. Still keep his stock high. They're going to use him in a lot of 2 running back sets. They're going to use him on special teams, and they will use him in 5 wideout sets. He's a very fast player, arguably one of the fastest players on the team. So he will catch a screen and run with it.
Yeah, Johnny is quick. Like that kid, I think he probably is the fastest running back. Like his burst when he hits that gap is insane. Like he'll go for 10 in a second if he can
To,
get through that hole.
to be honest, hearing everything in preseason training camp, the biggest question isn't Miles Montgomery, RJ Harvey, or Johnny Richardson. It's Penny Boone. We really haven't heard much about Penny Boone. We haven't heard of his production or how he's faring against other running backs. All we've heard is that RJ is RJ, Johnny's going to get Johnny's, and Miles is, they're saying, been the best running back throughout camp sometimes.
Yeah, that's
But
we're almost here. We're gonna find out soon, aren't we?
we
That's the
will. That's,
amazing
that's the
thing.
fun part about seeing the games played. It's all talk until it's on the field. All right. And we have
Exactly,
one more
exactly.
topic for the day, and then we go into a very special segment. Would there
And
be anything that puts Gus on the hot seat after this season? What do you think, Clay?
yes, yes, and I don't really know what constitutes a hot seat. Like what the fan base thinks is a hot seat, what the administration thinks is a hot seat. I think this is kind of a when it comes to hot seat, it's very ambiguous on who thinks it's a hot seat.
Yeah.
But I think there's actually a lot of scenarios. One, you drop it to New Hampshire. You drop
Yeah.
one to New
That's
Hampshire. You drop one to Sam Houston State,
that's about my
honestly.
top. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that goes without question, though. But I think if you don't make a bowl, that's probably a hot seat addition. If I really think that's it. You don't make a bowl and you drop one of those two. I think he can lose to Florida and be fine and still finish above 500 and still be fine. I don't think the fan base will be happy, but I think the administration would be fine with that. And Big 12 contention would be nice, but I don't think I think if there's a scenario where we don't contend for the Big 12, that's also fine. As long as 2025 is another year, but I think the only way is if we don't make a bowl or if we lose one to New Hampshire and Sam Houston State.
All right, I find it very unlikely, but if UCF has another 6-6 season, I do think that is justifiable for a hot seat. If he has another 6-6 season, let's put it right out the way. He will have lost the fan base, no doubt. I think if they even have a 7-5 season, he will have lost the fan base. 8-4 is the bare minimum expectation for many of these fans this season, and I do think 6-6 is justifiable for me on the hot seat. I understand why. This team has supposed to have been much more these past 3 years, and it hasn't been where everybody thought it has, Ken. And I do think that is the terms of hot seat. And of course, anything under 6-6 is justifiable. But give me a 6-6 season. Probably even if they have it realistically, even if they have a 6-6 season this year, he won't be fired. He'll just lost a fan base. His buyout is not gonna. They won't fire Gus.
Regardless, he's gonna have another year.
He will have another
unless he starts 0-2 in the season, he's gonna have another year.
Yeah, for sure.
And so this show is special, right? This show is special because we got a certain someone on the show today. We got him to commit. We got him to do it, even though Adam told me, "Hey, don't do it." No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that.
Through all the odds.
Yeah, we were able to get UCF Mike on the show today, and that was awesome. We got to ask him a few questions, discuss the realm of college football, and here it is.
Ken.
What's a hoe?
No.
South Florida in a 12-team playoff. I think I might kill myself.
Welcome. We have UCF Mike here on the show to join us for this episode, and Trivia Nights. Welcome back. It's been a while. How you doing, Mike?
It's about time you guys called me finally to be on this show. I mean, I've been waiting, and I've been sitting here watching guys like Peterson and Adam and all these other characters come on. Nope, my phone hasn't rang until this week. So
the thing is, I was told by Adam that you were hard to get a hold of, to commit. So I don't know. That's just what I was told. I was told to stay away by him. Just if you have any criticism, directed to Adam.
And you've been busy. You turned into Florida Mike for a while, Panthers Mike, and then now you're back to UCF. So I guess we needed to let the transition kind of calm down, and then we got you now.
Panthers Mike was fun. Hey, it made the offseason go by a lot faster, having your team go win the Stanley Cup. So I've been busy, yes, but now I am ready for the season to start.
Let's do it. Clay, to start off.
Gonna go and start with question one. Now, question one, we know you're very familiar with UCF football, so we had to kind of reach deep for some of these. Now, there was only one game, Mike, in 2007 that Kevin Smith didn't score a touchdown. Now, there was also a game where he only scored one touchdown. The only two games where he scored zero, and the only two games he scored one. Name those games where he scored zero and where he only scored one.
I know in 2007, he only didn't go over 100 yards one time, and that was against the Cows. He only had 55 yards. Now, we scored 12 points that day, so that means we did score a touchdown, right? Because there was a safety, I believe, in there. I don't remember if he was the one who scored the touchdown. So I'm going to say that's either the 0 or the 1, right? Is it the 0?
It is the 0. I'll give you that one. Now, okay. The 1.
It's only one game where he only scored one touchdown in 2007. Are you counting the bowl game? Because he didn't score a touchdown in the bowl game either.
Not counting the bowl game.
All right.
Regular season.
Okay. Wow. It's not the Tulsa game. It's not the Marshall. Who else did we play? Louisiana Lafayette.
I'm intrigued.
Texas, he scored. Obviously, NC State, he scored. I'll just take a shot in the dark and say, who else was even in the East Carolina?
Oh my goodness.
Dang, that was he Hail Married that one. Yeah, it is. It was East Carolina. He only scored once.
We're good at Hail Marys against East Carolina. What can I tell you? That was a lucky one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was good.
I feel so bad because we're asking these tremendously hard questions, but I guarantee I wouldn't get one of these, one, if you guys did this to me. So I'm thankful I'm on this side of the questions.
I mean, he was so good in that year. That was before you guys were born. I don't know if you probably haven't even seen footage.
I was alive in 2007. I think Andrew was too.
How old were you?
I was 3.
Okay.
2007, I was 4.
Yeah. So I had already graduated 5 years before that. And so I remember that season well. Season tickets when the stadium first opened. He was fantastic.
Quick side question. How many times have you been a season ticket holder?
So when I was a student, I didn't need to have season tickets because you had season tickets. And then we were playing in the Citrus Bowl. You didn't really need them after that either. So I would just get like the guest pass. I think it was like $10. You can be if you had a friend that was a student, you could get you a guest pass. I didn't buy actual season tickets until the last year of the Citrus Bowl because if you bought them that year, you were guaranteed to have first dibs for the stadium in 2007. So 2006, I bought season season passes just so I could be on the list for when they open the stadium.
Gotcha. All right. So going back into the questions, speaking of the USF game in 2007, name the 2 UCF QBs that the Knights threw out there. Who played for the 2 QBs?
Well, Kyle Israel started the game, right? He had to have. And then, who was the backup in 2007? Was it Greco? Michael Greco?
Yes, it was.
I remember Greco being the backup because everybody lost their minds when he came in against Memphis early in the year. I think it was like the second or third game of the year, and he went nuts, and everybody thought he was the next coming of Steve Young or whoever. I mean, he looked good, but he turned out not to be great.
Automatic.
This is nuts. Anyways, all right. So this one is kind of another Hail Mary by me. All right, the Knights won. So we've only been to 11 bowls, 10 bowls. And the Knights won this bowl game 38-17. I'm not going to tell you anything else. They won it 38-17.
Name the bowl game, name the team.
Yeah.
There's only, I think, 2 possibilities here. We've only won, I think, 5 of the bowl games, right? And one's the Peach Bowl, one's the Liberty Bowl against Georgia. So the other games we played have been the only 2 blowouts that we won were against Marshall and Ball State. Those are the 2 easy wins. So it's got to be one of those 2. I'm going to say Ball State 2012.
What's the name of the bowl game?
Oh, well, that bowl game had 10 different names. So that year, it's the one in St. Pete. That year, it's not the Bitcoin Bowl, right? Was it St. Pete Bowl? Was it just the St. Pete Bowl that year? No, I don't know. We played in that bowl like 5 times. Beef O'Brady's? Was it the Beef O'Brady's? No.
Yes, yeah. It was a Beef O'Brady's bowl. Yeah,
I count it.
I'll count it too. 3
because we didn't give you even a hint. We just said no, it wasn't that one. Oh my god.
We played in that bowl I think 4 times, and it's had a different name every time.
All right. So I think you've proved your UCF athletics knowledge. We had to throw a little bit curveball. Credit to Clay for throwing in this question. No, you're a Giants fan. Are you, right? Confirm?
Yeah, Giants fan. That's right.
Eli Manning has won this many home playoff games in his career.
Home playoff games. Wow. Okay. In 2007, when they won the first Super Bowl, they were on the road the whole way. In 2011, they beat the Falcons at home. And then the other games were on the road. That might be the only one that he won in the playoffs at home. I'll say 1. 2?
Nope. It was 0.
Mike, that was at Atlanta, that game.
No, it was not. Gentlemen,
what?
You are absolutely wrong. They beat Atlanta at home. Go look it up.
Go look it up?
Yeah, Google it right now.
You have to do some research. Hold on.
I remember watching that game. I mean, look it up.
Atlanta.
In the Meadowlands. Old Giant Stadium. Was it the Old Giant Stadium? Or was it the new stadium?
Okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Clay.
Did I make a mistake in my...
It was an outdoor game.
Clay.
Sure. Did I make a mistake in my questioning?
Did you make a mistake? Yes, you did.
I thought he never won a home playoff game.
You thought wrong, my friend. And also, he beat your Tampa Bay Bucks in 2007 in the playoffs. I was at that one.
All right, I'm not going to lie. Now
3 years old.
We just got to give Mike like 3 extra credit points for that one. He goes right to the top of the list for our mistake.
So the only ones who answer all questions correctly, is that correct? Me?
That might be true. Yeah.
And get bonus points. No, because I thought
for that one. Like you'll just stay on top.
I thought the only one he ever hosted was in 2018 at MetLife, and they lost it.
Was that the one?
That's what I thought.
After they threw like the little boat party.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
That was in Green Bay. They lost that game after the boat.
Okay.
He lost at home to, I want to say, Philadelphia. The year after they won the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl, they had the best record. The next year, they were 1 seed, and Plaxico Burress shot himself in the leg, and then they lost their first playoff game. I believe it was the Eagles. And they also lost another playoff game in 2005 to the Carolina Panthers. That may have been at home too. I think that was at home too.
Well, as UCF Mike has risen to the top of the Trivia Nights leaderboard, I guess we can move into a little special edition that we have brought him on for our this season Up All Night college football predictions. We're going to be predicting each power conference's championship and UCF's record. Speaking on predictions, I'll just throw one out there. Just because Mike is a Giants fan, I'm a Jets fan, I will say that the Giants will have the worst record in the NFL this year. My
no, worse than the NFL. I don't think so.
No, I think so. I do.
No,
I do.
No, I think the defense is good enough where they're going to win. They'll win a few games. They're not. Trust me. I don't think they've ever finished with the worst record. They've never had the number 1 pick. I don't believe.
First time for everything.
Yeah. If they're going to be bad, they'll be just bad enough to where they won't have the first pick because they'll screw it up. You know, they'll end up with their second, third, or fourth pick. They won't have the worst record.
The Jets do a lot. That's the thing that the Jets do.
They may be bad, but they're not going to be that bad. They're going to win more games than people think. I think the defensive line looks good. They got some young guys in secondary. They're not going to be as bad. They'll win 6, 7, maybe somewhere around there.
I give you 3.
No way.
All right, Clay. So you want to start off? What do you want to start off with? UCF record prediction?
Start with UCF, and then we'll go to the broader college football.
Mike, do you have your list of UCF record prediction, or you want one of us to start off?
Well, I mean, I did it on the show. I could do it off the top of my head. What I think the games that we're going to win. Yeah.
So we're going to go game by game then. Then you want to start, Andrew?
All right. So we'll go one of us each in order, like we do like that. So Mike, we'll give you New Hampshire at home.
If that's not a win, then I don't know what the hell we're doing. Just pack it in. Season's over. So that's definitely a win, no matter what.
Okay, Sam Houston at home.
That's a win too. It's not going to be as easy as the first one, but it should be a comfortable win.
Okay, Clay, you keep count. So far we're 2-0. All right, TCU first game of conference play away. Everybody
thinks this is going to be very tough. I don't see it as one of the harder games. I think it's a winnable game. I see it's a win. I call it a win.
Okay. Home opener against Colorado for conference play.
I'm a little nervous about this one. I think this could be a one where Gus is a game, or maybe we have a lead and we blow it, similar to the Baylor game. I'm a little concerned about it. Colorado's got a lot of skill guys on their team that can cause some problems. But I'll still say at home, crowd's going to be hyped up for it. 4-0 will be after that game.
All right. And going up to Gainesville against Florida.
Yeah, this is the one. This is a huge one for me personally. We have to win this game. It's on my birthday. I'm bringing the whole family up for this game. It has to be a win. We have to put it in the win column. Am I 100% confident? No, but I think so. I don't think Florida's that. A lot of that has to do with Florida's not really that good. Unless they surprise me week 1 against Miami. Maybe they're a little better than I think, give them credit for, but I think it's another win. I think 5-0 to start the year.
I was going to say a strong 5-0 to begin. That's bold. All right. And you have Cincinnati at home.
Again, I don't think Cincinnati is any good. So unless they stumble on themselves, this schedule sets up nicely early on. Now we could lose the Florida game. We could lose the TCU game. But I think 6-0 is a real possibility.
All right. So Iowa State away?
There, I think we run into trouble. I think that's just one of those games, middle of the country, a tough team, good experienced team. It's one of those games. It's like a Tulsa where I don't care if it's a noon game or any game. It's going to be problems. I'll say we lose that one.
BYU at home.
BYU, I don't think is that good. It's homecoming. Unless something weird happens, I think we pull that one out too. So it's 7-1 after those games.
As Trace would say, I think you're on a little bit of the hopium right now. I didn't expect this, Mike. Okay. All right. Give Arizona at home. I believe that's a space game, right?
That is space, yes. Arizona, they're a wild card for me. I think they can be. They were really good last year. They've got a very good quarterback, young quarterback, Fafita. He can cause a lot of issues for our defense. I'm not as confident. I could see this one going either way, but they've got a new coach too. I'd like to see what they look like going into that game. Just because it's at home, just because it's at space, I'll say we'll find a way somehow to come out with a win on that one.
8-1, Arizona State away.
Another team that I don't think is really that good. They're one of the worst teams on the schedule. Well, maybe they fix things up a little bit this year. But it's a long trip, other side of the country. It's the week before a bye. Maybe the team starts to fall into a little lull there. I could see maybe a trip up, but again, call me an optimist, but I see another win, 9-1.
West Virginia away.
This is another tough road game. Could be in the cold, could be in the snow. There was a closer game than people remember it last year. And there was a lot of turnovers. It was a 3-point game in the fourth quarter, but then they took over with their running attack. I could definitely see this as a loss. I'll say loss number 2 here. So 9-2.
And Utah final game of the season. I think that's the Friday night game at home.
Yeah. I think we're still alive. If we win this game, we go to the conference championship. If everything plays out the way I just said. But I think Utah is too good. I think they have a better coach. I think they have a better roster. Even though we're at home, even though the crowd's going to be into it, I don't know if we pull this one out. So I say we lose that one too.
So you got 9-3.
Yeah, 9-1, and then lose the last 2 and finish 9-3.
That seems a little bit tragic. I was getting really excited for a second. Like, is UCF Mike on the hype train? Do I have UCF Mike on the hype train? All right, respectable. I like it. 6-0 to begin, really surprising to me. But Clay, I guess I'll diverse to you now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want me to? You want to go next?
You go next.
Oh, okay. So New Hampshire, we win that game for sure. Like Mike said, if that's Furman 2.0, that's it. The season's over. Same with Sam Houston. I mean, that 2 easy, essentially preseason games. TCU does not scare me like it scares Trey Strelko. You know, he picks a Texas team every year, and he's like, this team's gonna be scary. Texas Tech last year, Texas Tech when he said Texas Tech was gonna be the team to beat. We lost by 1 point. They didn't scare me. We were just bad game managing that day. TCU's kind of in the same boat. I'm not scared of TCU, Fort Worth. Yeah, they went to the Natty 2 years ago. They returned like no production from that game. They got into a lot of shootouts last year. The only way I see us losing that game is a shootout because TCU got into a lot of shootouts last year and just ended up being on the wrong side of a lot of them. Josh Hoover's pretty good too. Sonny Dykes is also a good coach, but I see it as a win. So 3-0. Then we bye week and then Colorado. See that as a win as well. 4-0. I don't believe in Dion. I don't believe in Shador. The hype will be there for sure. They've improved in the transfer portal. I could see them going 6-6, making a bowl game. I think that'll be great. But I don't think coming off of a 4-8 season, there's just not enough parity in college football to improve that much. Can it be competitive? Absolutely. But I think we'll come out on the other side of that one. Then at Florida, this game is the one I'm the most unsure about. Every single day, I'm convincing myself that Florida's a lot better team than we think they are. Billy Napier is whatever, but the talent, they have Eugene Wilson, Montrell Johnson, I believe his name at running back, who they're all saying is really good. Graham Mertz had the highest completion percentage in the SEC last year, so he's also pretty good quarterback. It's gonna be at night. I feel like, there's a chance where we catch him off guard. Gus has this habit of playing big in big games and playing small in small games. So I feel like there's a chance where he rises to the occasion. So I'm gonna go W. I think we start out 5-0.
Okay.
Then versus Cincinnati, again, easy W. Brendan Sorsby sucks. Scott Satterfield's not a very good coach. I think we'll be a win for that game. 6-0. Then we go to at Iowa State. And there's not a game I am more sure we are going to lose than Iowa State. I think Iowa State is the loss. Iowa State's a great atmosphere. I really like Rocco Becht. That Iowa State defense might be the best defense we play all year. I just don't think there's really a shot, at winning that game. And then after that, the BYU, again, homecoming, 7-1. where we continue the streak. Space game. Arizona is a wild card team, just like Mike was talking about. Brett Brennan is the new coach there. Noah Fafita is really good. McMillan, their wide receiver, might actually be a first-round pick. He's just an insane athlete. It's a space game, though. We've never lost a space game. I think Adam was talking on the pod, like, oh, why don't we just make every game the space game? Then if you think that, maybe it was Trace, I don't know. But
It was me. It was me.
It was you? Oh, it was you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. It's just the space game magic. I have a hard time not believing the space game magic. So we
It
win
loses
that
its
game.
magic if you put it every game. It needs to be that one game a year.
Yes. And yeah. So what does that make us? 9-1 at that point? And then we go to Arizona State. This is my trap game of the year. Clay's trap game of the year is Arizona State.
Okay.
All right. Gus is gonna have that head scratching loss every single year, and it's gonna be against Arizona State. We come off the space game win. Our Super Bowl. We beat Noah Fafita. We're looking ahead to West Virginia. We're looking ahead to the bye week, especially if it's at night. Imagine if it's like 11 p.m. kickoff here because it's Pac-12 after dark. I could easily see that being a trap game where we just fall flat, like the Navy game. And yeah, so we lose that one. We're 9-2, or 9, yeah, 9-2, and then West Virginia. I'm not a believer in West Virginia this year. They lost so much in the trenches from last year. They had a first overall pick at center get drafted. They had a D lineman drafted. Garrett Green's pretty good. I think we all forget that Neil Brown was on the hot seat just 2 years ago. Everyone was saying, Neil Brown's not going to make it past September. And then suddenly, he pulled it together. Garrett Green was good. They got some wins. I get it. It's in Morgantown, but I feel like there's a serious chance where the wheels of West Virginia falls off early. I mean, they have Penn State. West Virginia plays actually a really hard schedule. Penn State, they have Pitt. I believe they play Utah, Kansas State, all before us. I could easily see us, going in and making a statement win in West Virginia. But I could also see West Virginia actually, being really good with Garrett Green. And then, so I think we win that one. We're 9-2 at that point, and then we fumble against Utah, 9-3. Cam Rising's really good, and so is that.
Okay,
defense.
so back-to-back 9-3 overall predictions.
Actually, you picked 4 losses. So you picked Iowa State, Arizona State.
Oh yeah, 8-4.
8-4.
No, but you said win in West Virginia. You said win in West Virginia, right?
Yeah, win in West Virginia. So
okay,
yeah, 9-3.
so no, you had 9-3. You had
9-3.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike, I didn't ask you. Does UCF make it to the conference championship game?
No. Like I just said, I think we're gonna have our chance, and if we lose to Utah, then we get knocked out.
Fair.
And the problem is you're gonna have Oklahoma State and Kansas State on the other side, who we don't play, so we won't have any tiebreakers with them. And if they finish with a better record, they only have 1 loss, 2 losses on their side, then we're out. So that's what I'm scared.
No championship game or no?
Oh, championship game? No, we don't.
Okay. All right, so I guess that leaves me. All right, so so for me this season, this is a season where we know if Gus, everybody's been saying this for the past few years he's been here, but like this is determining on if Gus is going to be the head coach in the future years or not. Obviously, he has a big contract, has the buyout and such, but you need this season to prove why you should be the head coach here. And New Hampshire and Sam Houston, you lose any of these games, that's justifiable firing for me at that point. So those 2 are for sure dubs. So we start off 2-0. Go to TCU away. I have us having a win, 3-0. Colorado. I think it's going to be all hyped up, all big game. UCF is going to come out, have a close game with Colorado. Colorado is going to win it in final seconds. I really do. Either that or they're getting blown out. It's one or the other. It won't be like a 28-14 match. It's going to be big or go home. I think Colorado is going to live up to somewhat of the hype this season, not as much as people have been expecting, but they can be top 5 Big 12. And I have them beating UCF. Florida away, I have them winning. I have UCF coming back and getting a win. That's a statement win. All right, we lost first game at home, but that doesn't deter us from coming back. So that's 4-1. And then I have Cincinnati home win. I'm very sure about that win. That's my lock pick of the year for the win. And then I have Iowa State loss. I think all 3 of us have had the Iowa State loss. It just makes too much sense for them to lose that game. And so I have us at, I think that's, 6-2? So yes. And then I have home against BYU. That's a win. Arizona home space game. That's a guaranteed win in my book. That's 7-2. Arizona State away win. And I think we're going to get a little bit of revenge on West Virginia this year on the road. We're going to grab the win. So that brings us to 9-2 entering the Utah game, where, once again, this has UCF Conference Championship complications. I think this is going to be a big drop for UCF, as we all predict UCF going 9-3 and losing to Utah. I think they're going to end up third or fourth in the conference next season, just one game away from meeting the expectation everybody thought they could.
So we all think they're going 9-3. We all think they're losing at Iowa State and to Utah.
Yeah.
So guaranteed, put some money down on us beating Iowa State and probably beating Utah, but somehow ending up 7-5. Right?
That's also a real possibility.
Or going 9-3 and losing to Cincinnati.
I have
right.
Either one or the other.
Yeah, if we beat Arizona, then I'm gonna go ahead and lock in Arizona State as a loss. I'm a believer in that. I'm a believer in this pick.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, the one game last year where I was about to bet my house on, but it didn't make any sense, was the Oklahoma State game. Like, there was nothing that told you leading up to that game that we were going to completely dominate them and shut down Ollie Gordon. We couldn't stop anybody running the football. And this guy's got the best running back in the country coming in. And the spread was only like 3 points. I was like, I couldn't understand it. I thought for sure, like it seemed like not enough. And
yeah,
usually when that happens, it's the opposite.
Our spreads last year were insane. Just like, it was always like we were always favored by like 2 or 3 in every single game, it seemed like. Or we were 2 or 3 point underdogs when we never should have been.
Well, we'll keep those predictions under review. And I love prediction seasons because everybody's right until they're not. Everybody has their own storyline for UCF until they're not. But heading into more of the big picture of things, I want to know what you guys think about the overall view of how the conference, the national championship playoffs are going to look, going over the championship winner of each conference. Mike, I guess we'll go back to you. Who is going to win let's start off with the Big 12. Who's going to win the Big 12?
I think obviously the big favorites are Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Those are the top 3 everybody's saying. I don't believe in Oklahoma State. A lot of that has to do probably with us kicking their ass 45-3 last year. So anytime I see that, I lose all faith in them. I think Kansas State. If I had to pick, I'm going to go with them. They have a good quarterback. They've got a solid team that has won before. They were good last year. They were good the year before that. They won the conference. So to me, Utah, I could see winning too, but new conference, you never know. I'll go with Kansas State to win it.
All right. What about you, Clay?
This is the one I'm the most unsure about in terms of conference-wise. Like, top to bottom, the Big 12 was just so many wild card teams. I feel like that other conferences don't have. But it comes down to Utah and Kansas State. I think they're going to make the conference championship. And if you want to take a real look at it, Utah and Kansas State are very similar teams in terms of, they both have good quarterbacks with long hair. That's, irrelevant, but they both have great, staunch, like, football defenses, like just hard-nosed or hard-knock defenses. But I will have to take Kansas State. I really like Avery Johnson. I really like that defense. I really like DJ Giddens. And I think Utah is going to get into some shootouts this year. I think Utah is going to face some tough games, tougher than they realize.
Yeah, I would say for the Big 12 champion, I actually have Utah winning. It's going to be like one of those things where Utah's going to win the Big 12, and you realize, like, oh, if UCF could have just beat Utah, then they could have been the conference championship winners. So I think it's going to be Utah this year. It's going to be like that, dang, if we could only just beat those guys, and those are the guys that end up winning the whole thing. All right, but we'll circle back to you, Mike. Who do you have winning the Big 10?
To me, it's only a couple teams again that have a chance. Obviously, Ohio State's probably the favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oregon, and you've got Penn State, who, if you're looking at all their schedules, I see as a possibility. Utah has to go on the road. I'm sorry. Ohio State has to go on the road to Oregon and Penn State. Penn State doesn't have to play Oregon. They just have the one big game is against Ohio State, and they get it at home. I give them a shot to get in there. I mean, I would love to see West Virginia knock them off in week 1, but Penn State's always been that team where they've been like number 8, 9 every year, and somehow they fall apart in the big games. one of these years they're gonna win one of those. So give me Penn State as a little shocker to win that one.
What about you, Clay?
I have Ohio State and Oregon in the conference championship.
Okay.
I think they play each other in the regular season. I think one of them takes it, and then one of them takes the other in the conference championship. But Penn State, Mike, I kind of like that pick, and I kind of don't at the same time. Drew Aller at Penn State, he does not play well in good games. Like I consider Penn State versus Ohio State for the conference championship. But if you look at how he played against Michigan and Ohio State last year, that man throws checkdowns. He's just I don't know if I can't buy into that Penn State stock. I've done it the last 2 years and thought they're gonna make the playoffs but yeah, I like Oregon, Dan Lanning, Dylan Gabriel. That offense is gonna be insane. Oregon's defense is gonna be insane as well. But Ohio State is probably the most talented team in the country, talent wise. Amazing defense. I don't know if I believe in Will Howard that much at quarterback. That's pretty much my only concern for Ohio State. But I think they'll find a way to piece it together.
Well, Clay, you're not buying the stock. I am. I have Penn State winning the Big Ten. I think they can come out and show why they've been that consistent 10-5 team these past couple of years. I do think they have the talent. They're always talented defensively, and I'm not that much of a fan of Oregon. I'm not. I do think that Dylan Gabriel has shown not showing up in big games, like you just mentioned. I don't think he's a big game shower as well, but I do think that they will end top 3, just not in the champion.
I like it.
Okay.
I would have picked Oregon, but I wanted it to be different and give Penn State, and then Andrew picked Penn State. So
Yeah, you see,
I'll stick with it, but I could have picked Oregon.
it was between. I mean, obviously between the big 3. I just like the Penn State pick. It made sense in my mind. It made sense. But all right, and we'll climb another tier higher. And what do you have for the ACC, Mike?
This one kind of got thrown into a mess yesterday, huh? That was a fun game. I know the Pasco family may have taken that one tough yesterday. Part-time Florida State.
No comment.
Fans. So, I think the ACC is kind of up for grabs too, similar to the Big 12. There's some teams in there. A lot of people think Miami has a shot this year. I know they say that every year, but
I don't think so.
they have a real quarterback this year. They've got a pretty good team. I give them a chance. Clemson, for some reason, I don't like. I don't know why, because they have proven it that they've done it before. I don't know. Something about Clemson's throwing me off this year. Watch it be a team like NC State with Grayson McCall. That's just the way it's probably going to end up. The guy that we thought was going to be our quarterback here, everybody was going crazy when he was at the basketball game. Grayson McCall is the next UCF quarterback. Watch him go to NC State and lead them to like a 10-2 season and somehow win the ACC.
That's a bold pick. That's really bold. I didn't copy you with that one. Did not copy you with that one. What do you got, Clay?
NC State's actually a really interesting pick, and I really like that you brought that up, Mike. Grayson McCall, I really like that team. Dave Doran is the head coach, and yeah, that I'm not gonna go with that, but I do like that. They're my sleeper team in the ACC. But the ACC championship game, and I'm gonna stick to it, is gonna be a rematch of Miami and Florida State. And I think it's gonna be the most toxic conference championship game of all time. And I hate to say it, I hate that I'm doing this, but I'm going to go with Miami. I'm going to go with Miami Hurricanes. I like Cam Ward. Miami is talented. I think undeniably, if you're going just purely off talent, Miami is the most talented team in the ACC. Florida State lost too much. They lost their entire D-line, pretty much their entire O-line. They lost Jordan Travis. I think they can get there, but I don't think that they can win the big game. I also like to shout out Virginia Tech. I really like Kyron Drones. There's a possibility they make it to the ACC championship as well. But I'm going to go with Miami, Florida State. Miami wins the ACC.
Oh, God, what a terrible pick. I feel bad. No. All right. Well, leading up to me again. This is a different pick than both of you have had. I like Clemson this year. I mean, I wouldn't – honestly, I was thinking before yesterday – maybe having FSU as a 1 or 2, but that I still think, to be honest, don't call me crazy, FSU can bounce back from this. I do think so. I think they'll bounce back and still be in the championship game. They're just going to lose to Clemson. That's my pick.
Yeah.
Nobody was
Micro
impressed
believer.
enough with Georgia Tech yesterday to think they have a chance. They look pretty
No.
good.
No, I'm not a fan. They use their quarterback like the Giants use Daniel Jones. He's not fast, but they have him run all over the field. I don't get it. Their receivers, I'm not too impressed by the receivers. There's a reason why they use him the way they do.
You know, Daniel Jones is fast, right?
He's not fast.
He is fast.
I think I might be faster. I might be faster than Daniel Jones in my power wheelchair, Mike.
They do these the analytics and stuff. They've tracked them going like almost as fast as Tyreek Hill on some of his breakaways.
Mike, when I hit full speed, my wheelchair hits a higher gear.
I don't think so. I think Daniel Jones is fast. He doesn't look like he'd be fast, but he's pretty quick.
He's not fast. He's a fake runner.
He might fall on his face.
Like
he is pretty quick at losing games, Mike. I will say that.
All right. Well, this leads us to the big dog of college football. What do you got for the SEC, Mike?
This is the one I'm going to go chalk. I'm just going to go Georgia because they've just been that much better. They're the new Alabama. Until proven otherwise, they're the best team I've seen the last two. And even last year, I think they were the best team. They just happened to lose to Alabama at the wrong time and got left out. I think if they make the playoff, they probably win that thing last year. So give me Georgia. I think that's the obvious pick.
Yep. What about you, Clay?
Yeah, same. Georgia versus Ole Miss in the SEC championship. I don't believe in Alabama. I think they're going to take a step back, probably 9-3 or 10-2. I don't believe in Texas either. They lost so much talent, probably 8-4 for them. So I do like Ole Miss. I like Lane Kiffin, even with the loss of Quinshon Judkins. I think they can do very well. I really like Jackson Dart too. So, but still, Georgia's the best. Carson Beck.
All right, we were unanimous in picking UCF at being 9-3. And we're unanimous about picking Georgia to win the SEC champion. I have them winning over Alabama. I do think Alabama's going to have a good year. Once again, they're still a dominant program. I like Noro. I think he's fast. He just needs to work on his accuracy a bit more, and I think he'll be a great college quarterback.
Yeah,
so
never count them out.
One last thing, the college football playoff winners. Who's going to win the national championship, Mike?
I'll stick with Georgia. Like I said, they're the best team I've seen. They've all around best roster. They've got a good coach. They've got the experience. They've been there, and they're hungry from last year from getting left out. So until I see somebody actually go in there and give them a tough game, I think Georgia's the best team right now.
And who might you have against them in that game?
I mean, that's tricky because I could just not necessarily be the second best team. Just depends on the way how the brackets work out. I mean, you got the other. Remember, the 2, 3, 4 seeds are going to be just other conference champions. So it doesn't necessarily mean the number 2 team will be on the other side of the bracket. So it could work out anyway. But just shot in the dark. Watch it be like an SEC title game with Georgia and Alabama or something like that.
I like it.
I don't like it, but I could see it. I could see the SEC getting 4 teams in there and somehow
that
2
could
of them.
happen.
Oh, 4 bids is going to be like, if they get 4 bids, we riot. Right. What about you, Clay?
I have Georgia versus Ohio State in the national championship, and give me the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think it's going to be a repeat of the 2022 playoff, Ohio State versus Georgia. That was an amazing game, by the way. C.J. Stroud versus Stetson Bennett. It was a shootout. I think it's going to be the same way again. I think Ohio State finally comes out on the other side. I think give me Ohio State as a national champion.
All right. And lastly to me, give me Georgia for the national championship. I envision a game where they're going to go against Penn State. And I think Penn State's going to be a really scrappy team this year. They're not going to win every game dominantly, but for example, the big games that they are going to play in, they're going to win them by a few points, strong defense, grind mentality. That's how they've always played. So I like Georgia, but I like Penn State as a runner-up.
What do you guys think is the G5 bid?
Oh, God.
Just random team. Who's going to get the G5 bid?
I got Liberty. I think they're just looking at all the schedules. They have they're the biggest favorite, I think, to win any of those conferences. I think out of the Conference USA, I think their toughest game is like East Carolina. Other than that, they really don't have anything. So you could see them going undefeated, maybe 1 loss, and then maybe the AAC with Memphis and I don't know, San Antonio maybe having 2-3 losses in there. So give me Liberty, or give me
What about
depth.
Liberty plays the easiest schedule in the country. They have their SOS is dead last. Even if they do go 12-0, I still think an 11-1 or even a 10-2 Memphis or South Florida team should be taking over Liberty.
South Florida.
I like Byron Brown, man. I hate to say it. Alex Golesh is cooking. I like Byron Brown. There's a chance. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I'll take Memphis as my G5 bid.
So Mike, in this, he's already predicted as Miami winning the championship and South Florida making the cup.
No, that's not what I said. I said give me Memphis. I said give me Memphis.
Oh, okay. I thought you said South Florida, but you're also a closeted FSU fan. But
That's not
talk
true.
about that another day.
You see that flag?
We'll talk about that another day. All right, well, we have your eyes on you, Clay. We have eyes on you. I like the Liberty pick. I agree with Liberty. Like you said, easier strength of schedule. I just feel like they're going to be that one team that gets in 12-0, bang, and then get knocked out first round. They just can't compete. But it'll be fun seeing them there. If UCF was there in 2017, I think we could have won the game. Just saying.
Yeah, Liberty could get in, and they could be playing against Ole Miss in the first round, so it could be a tough matchup. But if I have to see South Florida in a 12-team playoff, I think I might kill myself. I might just end it up.
We have to clip that.
If in a season we lose to Florida and South Florida makes the college football playoff, I might be dead. I might actually kill myself.
That is the funniest thing I heard today. Oh my god! In Clay's dream world, every team makes it but UCF.
That's just not true.
Florida makes it. Miami makes it. FSU.
By the way, there's no team I hate more than Florida, and under Florida is Miami. Those are my two most hated.
All right, fair enough. Well, that concludes the predictions. Thank you. Big thank you to you, Mike, for dropping your knowledge, your UCF knowledge, college football knowledge on us. And one question for the Giants. So thank you for that. It was fun.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Really
so
good.
I'm on the top of the leaderboard now, right? So.
Yeah, you'll have like a little like throne underneath your name with the one spot. We'll make sure of that.
Right.
We'll put it up there. It's deserving. We blame Clay for that mess up. I was like, oh, he only has 0 playoff wins. That's hilarious.
Bro, I could have sworn. I probably should have
hilarious,
that statistic before I threw that question out.
And they won that game easily. I can't remember the score.
But still, Mike, only one in all of Eli Manning's career is crazy.
Good on the road.
But he's won more road playoff games than almost everybody. And so, I mean, the team wasn't. They weren't winning the division, but they were when they made the playoffs. He won the Super Bowl twice.
That's
what he needs.
2 Super Bowls
and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. And in those 2 Super Bowl runs, I think he threw in those 2 years for the playoffs. I think like 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He was very good. Go back and watch those games against the Packers and the 49ers. The 49er championship game, he took a beating and still threw huge touchdown passes, like 3rd and 17 down the middle to Mario Manning. It's impressive, the stuff he did.
I would say this. A lot of people call Eli Manning overrated. I think he's a very elite quarterback.
I would take Aaron Rodgers over Eli Manning.
I agree, but I still like Eli Manning.
But Aaron Rodgers only did it once. And Eli did it against Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau Field. He did it against Brett Favre in Lambeau Field. He did it against the Cowboys, Tony Romo, the number 1 seed in Dallas.
Crazy game.
He did it in San Francisco. He did it against Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl, and an undefeated Tom Brady. So say whatever you want, but Eli Manning, I will take no bad words against Eli Manning.
Did Eli ever win a playoff game outside of those 2 Super Bowl years? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. Doesn't matter. Look, I don't care. I don't care about that. I'd rather not win the playoff game and then lose in the second round. That sucks.
That's kind of like a Jordan stat. Like once he gets there, he wins. But if he doesn't get there, he loses.
Look, the Giants don't. That's the one thing I appreciate about the Giants. They don't tease me. Either they're going to go all the way, or they'll be out in the first round. They've made the playoffs, lost the first round, but they're 5-0 in NFC Championship games, and they're 4-1 in Super Bowls. 9-1 in championship and Super Bowl games. I can't ask for more than that.
I can't joke with you because the Jets have the longest playoff drought in professional sports, and the last Super Bowl, my dad was 9 years old.
Yeah.
So
Half my family are Jets fans. So I tell you, I do. If the Giants are not going to win it, I want to see the Jets win it one year, just for them, for you. And half my family, my wife and her whole family are Dolphin fans. I'd like to see them win it too. Everybody deserves to have that one day in the sun, you know.
Man,
I've
I
had
just need the Jets one day. Like all the pain and agony over the years, I convinced, like I almost like try to tell myself it's worth it. It's worth it. It's not worth it at all. It's never has been. But the one day they do win, it'll be all be worth it. You'll see me.
It will be if it ever happens.
If it ever happens. But all right, thank you, Mike, for coming on. Hope you enjoyed, and everybody enjoyed seeing his UCF football knowledge. So we hope you all enjoyed that special edition of Trivia Nights / predictions for the upcoming college football season. As we all know, UCF Mike is UCF Mike for a reason. His knowledge is top tier, top grade, and there's a reason why he's number one on that list. But if before our mini hiatus from the show, we had a continuing ongoing pregame scout for the year, and we were up to Arizona. So Clay, drop the analysis.
So the Arizona Wildcats, this is an interesting team, and I feel like I say this about every single Big 12 team, but it really is. They have Noah Fafita at quarterback. They have McMillan at wide receiver. They went 10-2 last year. They beat Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl. They looked really good. Unfortunately, they lost Jed Fish, their head coach, to Washington. They currently have Brett Brennan, and I just don't know what to make of this team at all. I think offensively they're going to be really great. They're almost comparable to UCF. I think they're almost exactly like UCF. That offense is going to be there. Noah Fafita is really good. McMillan is really good. I don't have the running back's name right, but he's also really good as well. And you know, it's just it all comes out of the defense. Arizona is going to get into some shootouts this year. They're going to get into shootouts. There's going to be some high-scoring games, Arizona Wildcats. But I don't think it's going to be enough for Big 12 contention, like some say they might be. They'll be a wild card for sure. I mean, their floor is 5-7. Their ceiling is like 10-2, 11-1. This could be a really good team on our hands. Unfortunately, though, they catch us at a bad time. And that is a space game. We break out the space uniforms. Space game magic. I could very well see 100-0 win. UCF wins.
That's just
KJ
like
Jefferson.
low ball in it. That's low ball.
Yeah, KJ Jefferson doesn't even play in the second half. That's how much we're killing them. But Arizona is a wild. They're really just a wild card team from top to bottom. That's really all I can say about them. Noah Fafita is going to be really good. In fact, there's a chance that Noah Fafita ends up the best running or the best quarterback in the Big 12. There's a very good chance that happens.
So, what do you grade this matchup?
I grade them the matchup or the team itself, because the matchup I'll give it a B+.
The team.
The team, I'd give it almost an A. No, it's a good B+. Because I think if they still had Jed Fish, their old head coach, I would give them an A easily. That's going to be easy A. But I think that's going to set them back.
I agree. The Wildcats are a wild card, and I also give them a B+. I do think they've been competitive. They showed their competitiveness. And to be very honest, everybody was scared about UCF losing to Oklahoma State last year for their first space game. This one I am terrified about. But I do think they'll pull it out. But it's worrisome. But I do like the Wildcats. They're a good football team.
Gotta love the Wildcats. There's a lot of Wildcats in college football. I hate that. But this segues perfectly into Fan of the Week. Something that I don't hate, and that is actually someone I don't hate, and that is Miles. Because Miles has made us all healthier. You know, I think I can probably bench 300 pounds right now. I've been doing 100 push-ups, sometimes 200 every single day since this tweet, since July 27th. And I actually did bench the other day. I did 225 for 4, so that's got to be something worth something. Yeah, but Miles is out here making us all better, pushing us to be better, doing push-ups, and we love him for that. I think Trace has been hitting on my the thread every single day, saying he's doing them. He's letting everyone know. Trace Troco's getting ripped. We actually might see a ripped Trace Troco at the New Hampshire game. Just watch out, man. If those chest is huge, the triceps are huge, biceps are huge. New Hampshire ladies, watch out. That's all I gotta say.
We might need a side-by-side comparison of prime Trace Troco and prime Arnold Schwarzenegger, the way he has been commenting on these posts. I am tagged in everyone, and he says done.
Me too.
Every day. And I'm like, all right, he's got – I better see Trace come jacked, all right? That's the only expectation. And don't be surprised if you see it either. But, yes. But that isn't our only fan of the week. We have another fan of the week, and if you saw our new intro to our special Up All Night video, there's a new logo for our show. And we have to thank Nightmarish J for making this logo. It's beautiful, fantastic. That moon is so photorealistic. I can touch it with my finger. Thank you, Nightmare. Thank you. That's awesome.
I got to meet him at the Cure Bowl event. He was awesome. Just also a very knowledgeable guy about that, college football in general. He was really cool. I got to talk to him. I'm gonna see if I can figure out if there's a way I can like get his signature, to put on the, like an artist, like they'll have their signature like in the bottom corner.
Yeah, we can
I'm
for
gonna
sure
see if
throw
I
it on
can-
there.
Yeah, throw it on there because this is just a great logo, and he sent it. We didn't ask him to do it. He did it out of his own time, his own accord, and sent it to us. And
Awesome
yeah,
guy.
that's gonna be our new logo of the
Awesome
future.
guy.
He's
I think my favorite part is like seeing like the letters actually like not just on it but carved on the moon. It looks sick.
yeah, looks
So
way better
thank
than
you.
my Photoshop design that I did in 5 minutes.
So to everybody who's gonna be tuning into Up All Night this season for our game coverages and the all new news throughout the UCF community, look forward to this logo and thank you, Nightmares Jay, once again. So thank you so much.
So we got any more news for us?
Yeah, so going on in the UCF community currently, the Knights men's soccer team is 1-1 after a draw today with Seattle. They won their first game, but if I'm not mistaken, they are the women's team and also ended in a draw 2-2 against Florida, if I'm not mistaken, because we are literally filming this live as we do this. But so far, both of the teams, men's and women's soccer, 1-1, not 1-1, one win, 0 losses, 1 draw, and starting off the season strong. Men's team is ranked, and they will continue to be ranked after this draw, and they go against number 15 Wake Forest next week Saturday. So look forward to that big matchup. That men's soccer team was ranked number 1 for 2 or 3 games last year, and they kind of fell off a cliff after. But
Yeah.
we won't forget the number 1 ranking. That is a good team. And they're one of actually the most consistent teams here now at UCF sports.
Wait, you
So,
know what I
yeah.
just thought of?
What?
2023 UCF men's soccer was literally just 2023 Philadelphia Eagles. Started off 10-1, just to
Oh my God.
fall off.
Who let Clay cook?
But it's true. It's a good comparison, right?
That was a good comparison. It works. He gets the job done. Gets the job done.
But anything else for us, Andrew? Is that the only news we got going on?
Do we got anything else, Clay?
We do. So, Up All Night is gonna probably change the time at which it releases. It used to be Sunday nights, but due to both commitments for us and really just me, and plus Saturday night games and that finding time to film it, we're probably gonna move to Wednesday nights is what we're thinking.
Thinking so.
Yeah, Wednesday nights gives us more time to film it, and we're gonna probably change our format up, do game reactions, game analysis, and I'm just currently looking into bringing some guests, not familiar guests, but guests of other teams to discuss game predictions and game results. So you're gonna see a little switch up of Up All Night. We're still gonna stick to the same stuff. We're gonna do news. We're gonna try to do trivia nights, weekly nightmare. But other than that, we're gonna change some formula around.
Yeah, you'll see the hot wheel, your favorite wheel, come back here and there, depending on the games, depending on there's some topics that need to be talked about. But for the most part, it does job in helping us get through a long summer, long preseason. But now football is back, baby. I've never been more
We're so
excited.
back. Football is
We
so
are
back.
so back. Be sure to follow both of us on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, because we're going to be giving coverage literally all season long. Press conferences, new news coming out, new media. It'll be on our pages. Clay, his personal page, Mr. Admin of Barstool now, UCF Stool, and whatever I do on X, I post some clips sometimes.
More than I do. You do more than me.
But all right, thank you everyone. Clay, you can end us off.
I think we get a little tired, man. I think we've officially been Up All Night. Good night, everyone.
Good night.